We've all dreamed of building something. Starting our own business, writing a book, designing our dream home, growing a garden, crafting a life that feels truly ours. Those kinds of dreams, they make us feel alive. When we were kids, didn't we all love building forts, drawing our own comic books, or inventing crazy games with made-up rules? I think there's something deeply human about the act of creating. It's not always artistic. Sometimes it's physical, like carpentry or gardening. Sometimes it's intellectual, like writing a story or designing an app. But at its core, creation is about shaping the world with our own hands, our minds, our hearts. And for thousands of years, that's what humans did. We crafted, we built, we shaped things, until, one day, we didn't need to anymore. Not because we stopped wanting to, but because the system no longer expected it of us. Today, you can go through your entire life without ever creating anything from scratch. Society is so efficient, so optimized, that most of us are just tiny gears in enormous machines. And worst of all, from the moment we're kids, we're quietly taught to believe that working with your hands, building things, making things, that's not success. Instead, success is abstract. It wears a suit. It works in an office. We're told, don't be a carpenter, be a consultant. Don't be a farmer, be a project manager. The message is subtle, but it's everywhere. Manual work is for those who failed school. Creation is for the outliers. Real success. It looks like a job in finance, in tech, something with KPIs, Slack channels, and corporate jargon. And maybe that's why, at some point, we start losing the spark. When I was a kid, like, under 12, if you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd say something like a gardener or an inventor, something hands-on, something real. But after 12, the answers started to change. Not because my dreams changed, but because I started to understand what kinds of dreams adults approved of. Suddenly, I didn't say gardener. I said, I don't know. And just like that, I entered the system. The pipeline: study hard, get a degree, land a job, climb the ladder, retire. 15 years later, I found myself clicking through an endless spreadsheet in a job I didn't care about, for a company whose mission I didn't understand, earning just enough money to survive but never enough to escape. And that, somehow, was what we were told was success. But it didn't feel like success, not even close. So, what do we do when life doesn't match the image of success we were promised? We dream. We escape mentally. We say, one day, I'll start my project. When I have enough savings, I'll build my business. Soon, I'll write that book. Launch that channel. Start that podcast. And we really believe it. We're convinced the right moment will arrive, the perfect storm of time, money, energy, and motivation. But here's the truth. That moment doesn't exist. And the longer we wait for it, the more it slips away. The moment we try to turn our dream into something real, we get overwhelmed. We start sketching an idea, only to feel crushed by how far it is from what we imagined. We want it to be perfect, or not at all. And that pressure, it paralyzes us. We end up doing nothing. Telling ourselves we're just preparing, waiting for inspiration, refining our vision. But deep down, we're scared. Because creating something, truly creating, is an act of vulnerability. Writing a story, composing a song, painting a picture, making a video, sharing your opinion, it's like taking a piece of your soul and holding it out in your hands, hoping the world sees something beautiful. And once it's out there, it's exposed, open to criticism, open to comparison, worse, open to indifference. And when someone dismisses our creation, it feels like they're dismissing us. So instead, we keep it inside. We protect it. Because as long as it lives only in our minds, our project is still perfect, and touched, and tarnished, safe. It's easy to say, I could have done it. Much harder to try and risk failing. So we stay in that in-between space, the fantasy of potential, the illusion that we're just about to do something great. Part 4. The algorithm of attention in the digital age. Everything competes for our attention. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Netflix, Twitter. Even when we want to create, our phones whisper, just one more scroll, just one more video, just a quick break. But those quick breaks drain our creative energy before we ever get started. We tell ourselves we're looking for inspiration. But we're not. We're looking for distraction. Because distraction feels safer than effort, safer than risk. And worst of all, every time we consume instead of create, we feed an algorithm that trains us to stay passive. The algorithm rewards consumption, not production. The more you scroll, the more it learns what keeps you scrolling. But what happens when you try to reverse the flow, when you go from watcher to maker? From consumer to creator, the algorithm doesn't care. It won't give you a platform right away. It won't reward your first attempt, or your 10th, or your 100th. So we give up too early. Not because we're lazy, but because we've been conditioned to believe that effort should have instant results. And creation, true creation, it's slow. It's invisible. It's lonely. At first, no one watches, no one listens, no one cares. But that's how it's supposed to be. Nobody talks about how hard it is to create in obscurity. To upload your first video and see 3 views. To publish your first blog and hear nothing but silence. To build something and watch it sit untouched for weeks. You start asking, is this even worth it? Am I wasting my time? Am I just another wannabe? But let me tell you something I wish someone had told me earlier. Every master was once invisible. Every creator you admire today once uploaded something no one noticed. They kept going. And that's the only difference. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for validation. They didn't wait for the algorithm. They built in silence, in doubt, in fear, in solitude. They didn't try to go viral. They tried to get a little better every day. Obscurity isn't a curse, it's a gift. Because when nobody's watching, you're free to experiment, to fail, to suck, to try again. And the truth is, you have to suck before you can be good. It's not time, it's not money, it's not talent. The real enemy is the illusion of the perfect moment. We think we'll start when we have a better camera, more followers, more confidence, more clarity. But waiting to be ready is the fastest way to never begin. Because clarity comes from doing, not thinking. You don't find your voice before you start. You find it by starting. You don't build confidence by waiting. You build it by taking action while you're still scared. And if you're waiting to stop being scared, you'll be waiting forever. Fear never leaves. You just learn to move with it. You learn to act in spite of it. So, what if you just started? What if you made the video, wrote the post, recorded the podcast, sketched the idea? Not perfectly, not virally, just honestly. What would happen? Probably not much at first. But then you'd make another. And another, and another. You'd get 1% better. Then 3%, then 10%. And over time, you'd find something most people never do. Momentum. And momentum changes everything. Not because it guarantees success, but because it reminds you that you are not stuck. You're evolving, you're creating, you're alive. Here's a truth no one tells you. You don't need to be great to begin. You just need to be brave enough to be seen starting small. Some of the most powerful creators in the world aren't the most talented. They're just the most consistent. They show up even when it's hard. Even when they feel like imposters. Even when nobody claps. They create not because they're sure they'll win, but because creating is how they breathe. And that kind of person, eventually, they break through. Not overnight, but over time. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people willing to show up messy, real, and human. Be one of them. What if success isn't about going viral, or making millions, or being famous? What if success means showing up, even when quitting feels easier, creating instead of just consuming, getting just 1% better every day, doing the work, even when no one's watching, becoming someone you're truly proud of? If that's what success is, then success is already within your reach today, right now, because success is not a finish line. It's a direction, and every small step you take in that direction counts. Every day, you wake up with 2 choices. 1. Scroll, consume, distract, wait, repeat yesterday, stay the same. 2. Create, act, build, try, even if it's awkward, even if it's scary, even if it's tiny. One path feels safer. But it leads nowhere. The other path. That's where life happens. That's where growth lives. That's where change begins. You don't need to take a giant leap. You just need to take the next small step. Because every day you choose to create, you reclaim your time. You reclaim your focus. You reclaim yourself. If you're hearing this, you haven't missed your chance. You're not too old. It's not too crowded. And it's not too late. The tools exist, the platforms exist. The access is there. What's missing is your voice. And the only way to find it is to use it. So take the risk, make the thing, press publish. Hit record, start messy, start scared, start anyway. Because the world doesn't just need more content. It needs more courage. And that courage, it starts with you, right now.